So in this session, we are going to focus on the Java Spring Boot and the MongoDB. So that means here we are going to focus on the backend part. So before starting the Spring Boot application, so we have to check whether we have the JDK, that means Java Development Kit, in your machine, as well as you have to check that one with the Java C version and the Java version. So if you don't have the JDK, you can install it using the Oracle site. And so simply you can go ahead with the open terminal or command prompt or PowerShell. If it is Ubuntu or Fedora, you can go ahead with the terminal. If it is Windows, you can go ahead with the command prompt and the PowerShell, right? So since here I have the Mac OS, I'm going to use the terminal. So in here, let's check whether we have the Java. So first you have to type Java C version. Okay, I have the Java C, then Java version. Here it is. Okay, so first of all, you have to install Java. Otherwise, we can't go ahead with the Spring Boot application. And the second thing is you have to have an IDE. So you can either use IntelliJ IDEA or else Visual Studio Code. So you can both. So in this session, I'm going to focus on the Visual Studio Code, right? So if you don't have an IDE, you have to install it. And the other hand, we are using the DB as MongoDB. So to do the database part, so let's go to the MongoDB Atlas. So you can sign up or sign in if you have already have a account. You can go ahead with the sign in, or else you have to sign up. You can sign up using your Google account. That means your Gmail. And okay, so this will be your out look for the MongoDB Atlas. So first you have to create a project. So here you have the option to create a new project. So in here you can give a name, project name, let's say library API. So this is my project name. So I'm not giving any tags here. So just simply go ahead with the next. And add members and set permission also, you can go ahead with it. Just create the project. Okay, it's creating. Yes. Then you will see this window. Then go to the database. And here, let's click on the build a cluster. Now we are going to create a cluster. So here we are choosing the free one. That means M0 one. And you can give a custom name for the cluster, or else you can go ahead with the cluster 0 and take this preload sample dataset. If it is click, so this should be like this. And the provider AWS, that is the default one, and the default region, and the tag we don't need, then you can go ahead with the create deployment. Yeah. So in here, what we need to do is, here you can see how to connect the cluster. So first of all, when we are connecting to the cluster, first you have to have a database user. So here my username, and here this is the password. I'm going to copy that password because we need this one later. Okay. So this will be my password. So you can go ahead with your one. And I'm going to save it somewhere else. We need that one later. And click on create user. Then here, now we create a user. Then we have to have a connection IP address. normally it will catch your IP address. That means your current IP address. And also I'm going to give something different one. So what you need to do is you can give, you can click on this network access and it will open up this window. So in here, you can see our current IP address. So in here, I'm going to add a new IP address. So here, IP address will be 0.0.0.0/0. So this means anywhere. So anywhere means, so here we are going to give the access to every single IP address. That means we are allowing any IP address connection. So that's why we are giving this 0.0.0.0/0. Just confirm it. Here you can see it is pending as a status. So it will soon active. Let's wait for that. Okay, now active. We can just close this one. And here, now we add our IP address and the database user. So the next thing is we have to choose a driver or as the developer tools. So normally we are focusing on the developer tools. So in here, you can use either MongoDB Shell, Compass, MongoDB for VS Code. So here I'm going to use the Compass. I will tell you how to do that one in the VS Code as well. So here, if you don't have the Compass, you can go ahead with the download the Compass using your which operator you need. Likewise, you can go ahead with that. But since I have that one, I said I have installed Compass, then I can see the connection string. So we can use this one when we are connecting our database, right? So let's stop that part from here and let's go to the Spring Boot, right? Yes. In here, first you need to type start.spring.io. So then you can see the Spring Initializer. So through this one, we can create a Spring Boot application. So first you have to choose the build automation tool. So you can either use Groovy, Kotlin, or Maven. So I'm going to use Maven here. And the language is Java, the default version. Then the Spring Boot also I'm using the default one. And here you can fill out the project metadata. So I'm giving, let's say, com dot example, and here the demo, let's say library management. So in here, library management project for Spring Boot. Okay, so the packaging and the Java version, I'm giving the default one. And then we have to have add some dependencies when we are creating the Spring Boot application. So because when we are coding and when we are connecting the DB, we need those dependencies. So first I'm going to add Lombok. So I will share the document. What are the things in these dependencies and what is the purpose of using that. So the first one is Lombok, then Spring Web, then Spring Data MongoDB, and the last one, Spring Boot DevTools. Okay, so these are the 4 dependencies I'm going to add initially, and simply you can go ahead with the generate. Then it will download a zip file. So here, my zip file. So we have to extract that one. So here it is. You will see this type of data within that. Okay. Then we have to open this one from the IDE. So here I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. Here, open from the downloads. Here, my one. So I'm opening it. Okay, so here it is. So this will be our project, right? So this one you can ignore, .mvn, you can ignore that one. SRC means the source files we are going to have. And here the target. So you will learn these things when we are doing the project. So in the SRC, within the main, within the Java, we have the Java class called, this is the main class, library management application Java. So this is the application Java class, application class. So if we talk about this class, so in here first line, the line number 1, that is declaring the package. We gave the package name as com.example and our project name. Then we have 2 imports in line number 3 and 4. The one thing is for the Spring application and the other one is for the Spring Boot application. Here you can see Spring application, the Spring Boot application. So the Spring application is containing, that means the Spring application class contains run method. So in here you can see spring.run. So to get that run method, we need to import Spring application, right? So pass in the application class and command line arguments as parameters, right? You can see application class and the arguments. Then the Spring Boot application, that is annotation in Java. So when we are giving this annotation, we are letting the compiler know about what this class does, right? So since this one is the Spring Boot application, we are letting know the compiler this is a Spring Boot application. So that is the Spring Boot application annotation. Okay, so yes, go to the run and debug. So you can select the Java. So or else you can go ahead with this play button here to run the project, right? Okay, so when we are running this one in the very beginning, we will get some errors. So one will be port in use one. So in my case, I'm not getting that kind of errors, but maybe for you, you will get that. So if you are getting that error, port in use error, what you need to do is you have to, so first of all, you have to end the project and you have to open application.properties, which is in the resources folder. So in here, if you have that errors only, that means port in use error, you have to type server.port equal to, you can give any port, right? So in here, my port is 8080. So since I'm not getting an error, I'm not changing the port. If you are getting an error, you can give any port in here. You have to change the port. Otherwise, it will not run. Okay. Since I'm not getting that one, I'm not giving that in here. And but in my case, I'm getting this error, exception opening socket. So this one we are getting because we didn't specify MongoDB. That means we didn't give our MongoDB database name, cluster, username, password. We didn't give anything about the MongoDB. Just we run the program. We run the Spring Boot application. So since we didn't give that, to get rid of this exception, first you have to go to the pom.xml. So in here, once you go down, you will see this dependencies. So in these dependencies, I'm going to comment this MongoDB dependency. So select that dependency and you can click on control / or else command / and you can comment it. Then save it, save the file, and you have to right click on the pom.xml and click on reload projects. Okay, so first you have to do that. Then let's run the program again. You have to select the Java class and let's run it. Now we are not getting that exception, right? You're not getting that exception. Then you can see here, once you see these things, you can see Tomcat initialize, starting the service, starting servlet, initializing Spring Boot, Spring embedded web application context, likewise live reload server, Tomcat started, and here the started library management application. So what you need to do is, so open up a browser and type localhost and your colon and your port. Then you will get this white label error page. So, sorry. This means our application is running perfectly, but we don't have any endpoints. See, since we didn't written any APIs, endpoints. That's why we are getting this white label error, right? So if you are getting this one, that our application is running perfectly, but still we didn't write any endpoints. So that's why we are getting this one. Okay, to start this application, let's start with first endpoint. This will be a sample one. And yes, so go to the application. So first of all, you have to stop running. And in here, first you have to give the annotation called REST controller. Sorry, REST controller. Okay, so in the REST controller means once we give the REST controller, framework knows that means this class actually is for API controller, not just a class. This is for the controlling the REST APIs. So that's why we are giving the annotation called REST controller. Then within the class, inside the class, we can give something like this, at get mapping, right? Get mapping. Then I'm giving a method like public string API root return, say hello world, right? So here means I'm creating an endpoint to display the hello world message. So you have to give get mapping 1 since we are going to retrieve something from the browser. So we are going to get this message from the browser, right? So we can save this one. Okay, save it. Then you have to run the project again. Okay, so it's running perfectly. Then go to the browser and refresh the page. Then you will see this message, hello world, right? So to get the understand of this endpoint, so in here, within brackets, if we give something like this, /root. So I'm giving a path. I'm going to specify the path here. So save it. Let's run it again. Okay, now let's refresh. We will get that white table error because now we gave path as /root, not only the localhost and the port. So what you need to give is you have to give /root. Then you will get the message, right? So this is a simple endpoint, right? Okay, now let's focus on the database again. So here it's my MongoDB Compass. I'm going to create a new connection now. So what you need to do is, first you have to, here you can see in the connection, add your connection string to the Compass. So what you need to do is, you can just copy this one and you have to paste in here. So if you are not getting the password from the connection string, you have to replace the password. Since I'm getting that one, I can go ahead with the save and connect. And you can give a name for that. So here I'm giving library API. You can give a color and save and connect, right? So it will connecting. Soon it will connect. Yes. Now you can see it connected, right? Now again, we can go ahead with this. I'm going back. All right. Okay. Yes. Okay. So this is my project, library API. And in here, if we go to the database option, here, this is my cluster. So here, click on this browse collection. Now I'm going to add some sample data to the database, right? So you can load a sample data set from the Atlas itself, but here I'm going to add my own data. So click on that. First, you have to give a database name. So here I'm giving library DB API. So this is my database name. So the collection name. So here you have to give the collection name. So the collection means like tables. So if we talk about the SQL, we have the database. Then within database, we have tables. Since the MongoDB is NoSQL one, within the NoSQL, we have database, but in here we have collection. So instead of the tables, we have collections, right? So let's give a collection name. So here I'm giving book. Yes, book. So you can go ahead with the create. So at the moment, we don't have any data within the collection. So we don't have anything within this book collection, right? Okay, so I will share some data set with you. So in here in the book document, I have some kind of data. Okay, so here, this is JSON format. Here I have 3 data. So let's copy the entire JSON data. And in here, click on this insert document. Click on this curly braces. Instead of this, you have to give that copied one and click on insert. Now you can see we have 3 documents with the ID, book ID, title, author, ISBN, publisher, year published, genre, and copies available. So here we have 3 documents. Inside every document, we have these properties, right? Likewise, let's add the other collections. So here I'm going to give the other one. Borrow. Create first. Insert document. Curly braces. Instead of this, I'm going to add this. Insert. Again, we have 3 documents. Then the report. New collection. Remember, you have to create the collection inside the database, okay? Insert document, curly braces, in here. So like we are inserting documents, that means inserting data from the Atlas website, we can do it in the Compass as well. So open up the Compass. So you can refresh the databases, then you will see our database in here. And now we have 3 collections. So click on this plus sign, then you can see here, create collection. Let's give a name. We already had the report one. Get the next one, reservation. Copy the Compass reservation. Here I'm going to import some data. Sorry, we can go ahead with the add data in here, insert document. The same option we had in the site. So instead of this, we have to give that copied one and insert. The next one is the role plus role. So in here, add data, insert document. So in here, instead of this, we have to give the document like this and click on insert. The other one, so let's see, here the user. So copy the entire thing and create a new collection here, call user, create collection, add data. So it should be insert document, replace with the copied one, insert. Here also we have 3 documents. Now we already add our collection data to the database. Okay. Okay, now let's do the database configuration part. So open up your project in the Visual Studio Code. So stop run the program. And what you need to do is in here, first open up the application.properties. So in here, spring dot data dot mongodb dot database. So here you have to give your database name. So my database name is library-db-api. library dash db dash API. So this is my database name. So the next thing is string dot data dot mongodb dot URI, not URL, it's URI. Then you have to give your connection string. So you can get it from the compass easily, or else you can go ahead with the website. So here, click on this, then copy connection string, and you can paste it. And first, you have to remove this last slash. We don't need that one, right? Then save it. And you have to remove your comment from the pom.xml. Here, you have to uncomment it. So simply you can go ahead with the control slash, or else in a Mac command slash, and save it. Then you have to reload your project. So right click on the pom.xml, then reload projects, and you can run the program. So if you are not getting any errors, that means our connection is successful from here, right? So there's another thing. So when we are using MongoDB, you can connect via VS Code as well. So to do that, what you need to do is click on Weave and go to the command palette. In here, you have to type MongoDB connect. So once you click on that, you will get this window. So in here, you can see this option, connect with connection string. So you can click on connect and you can paste the connection string here and enter. In here also, you can see our database is connected through the VS Code. Likewise also, if you don't have the compass, you can connect the MongoDB from here. Okay. So the next thing is, so if we see our application properties, here we have given our connection string and the database name. So let's say if we want to add our project into GitHub, that means the remote repository. So that means we are going to upload our project in to see for the outsiders. So for the safety, when we are using GitHub to so in here you can see here we have sensitive data like username, password also. To to secure our sensitive data, we can use a mechanism called environment file. So what we are doing is, for the safety, to put all our sensitive data, we are creating .env file, and we are going to add our sensitive data into that, and we can hide that env file from the outsiders, and our sensitive data will be secure. So what you need to do is, so within the resources folder, right click on it and new file, click on give the .env. So this is the environmental file. So you can just stop the project. So here, first I'm giving Mongo database. That is my first one. So within quotation, I'm going to give my database name. Copy and paste. Then my username, Mongo user. So in here, this is the username, and Mongo password, for the password. So here it is, password. And Mongo cluster. So within quotation, After @ sign, you have to give the whole thing like this, right? Then save it and open up your git ignore file, and the bottom of it, you have to give that file, env files .env. You have to give like this, right? Save that one as well. So remember, Spring doesn't support reading this .env file easily. So for that one, we have to add a new dependency. So to do that, open up the browser and type Maven repository. Then go to this Maven repository site and type spring.env. Then once you go down, you will see this dependency. Click on that and click on this 2.5.4 version. And in here, so you have to copy this one. And within your project, within the pom.xml, after these last dependency, you have to give that dependency. So save the file and reload the projects. And the next thing is go to the .env file. And here we have the MongoDB database, user, password, and cluster. So first copy the Mongo underscore database. And in here, apart from this name, I'm giving $ within curly braces, env dot that one. Then for the user, sorry, apart from this, $ within curly braces, env dot mongo user. And the next one, mongo password. Instead of the password, $ within curly braces, env dot password. Then the last one, the cluster. Yes, so here it is, $ within curly braces, env dot mongo cluster. So here we have to give these things. So save that one. Again, let's reload the project and let's run the program. Let's see. If we are not getting any errors, that means our reading the env file is successful, as well as our sensitive data is secure. Here, I'm not getting any errors, right? So that's about the database configuration and the initial process of the Spring Boot. Okay.